Welcome, everybody, to the Hound's Tales podcast. On this episode, we're going to be finishing up part 2 of our episode with Mike Greene, and I'm also going to do a little quick recap of the amazing weekend that I just had at the James River at Tar River. All right, guys, strap in. Let's drop the gate. Welcome, everybody, to the Hound's Tales podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hound's Tales podcast.
Joy Dog Food is one of the oldest dog food companies on the market, starting back in 1945. Since then, much has changed in the pet food industry, but one thing that'll never change is our dedication to our customers and providing the best quality dog food while remaining consistent at the same time. Joy Dog Food is family-owned and operated by Wade Kraskiewicz and his son Skylar. The two have worked side by side for years, providing superior customer service, products, and resources to pet owners across the nation. Here at Joy Dog Food, we pride ourselves on providing personalized one-on-one customer service to each person that calls, emails, or messages us. For more information on our products, to find a dealer near you, or to become a dealer yourself, visit joydogfood.com or call 800-245-4125.
If you're listening to this podcast, you probably have a need for dog supply items such as Garmin products, bark collars, remote trainers, name tags, field trial and hunting dog supplies, supplements and first aid, dog fences, used and refurbished collars, and much, much more. Where can you go to get that? Outdoor Dog Supply. Outdoor Dog Supply is a leader when it comes to Garmin Tritronics trade-in program. They were one of the first Garmin dealers to start accepting Garmin buyback trade-ins toward purchases. Outdoor Dog Supply currently accepts both working and some non-working units. Be sure to check in with these guys at Outdoor Dog Supply or at 757-482-1000. And their hours of operation are from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if you're in the Chesapeake area in Virginia, be sure to stop in. Go see these guys in person. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online sales as far as Garmin products go and your hunting dog supply needs. This is where I go to get all my stuff. Might as well join me in it. All right, guys. Again, be sure to check these guys out, outdoordogsupply.com, and thank them for coming on board with the Hound's Tales podcast. Let's get back to the episode. All right, guys. Welcome again to the Hound's Tales podcast. I cannot thank y'all enough for joining me. We're going to be finishing up part 2 here very, very shortly. Of the Mike Greene episode. Yes, I know Beagles, and maybe that's not some of our forte, but I'm telling you, I really did learn a lot. I think it's a great episode, and it's a really good listen. So y'all be sure you give this guy give a chance. Maybe give this thing a listen, and I promise we'll get some more field trialers on here soon. That was one of the requests I had over the weekend when I was down there at the James River, but I thoroughly enjoyed my weekend down there. I'm still in shock. I'm still in awe. I still, honestly, I just can't even believe it. We made our first field champion this weekend. My dog, call him Heartbeat, it'd be FA and PCK's Heartbeat, surprised me, come out of left field on me, and we had a heck of a weekend, man. It's definitely something I'll never forget. We were first place the first day. He dropped back to 5th on the second day, and then pulled back up and snuck it out by 5 points on the last day. I really cannot believe it. It's something I'll never ever forget. I had so much fun down there, hanging out with some great people, hanging out with people like Colby Taylor, Bobby Newman, the Halls, Clint Thompson was down there and hung out with him. I mean, just so many good people, and got to meet some new faces. Got to meet some people from South Carolina. Chad Leggett and his daughter Madison. Let's see, it was Cole Garrick and Kyle Garrick, Trevor Morris, and Lane Morris. Got to hang out with all those guys a lot. They were kenneled down pretty close to me and on the same row, so we all got to hang out a whole lot. We sat around and shot the bull after the days were over and enjoyed camaraderie and all that kind of good stuff. And I learned a lot from those guys. I learned a lot. I think I'm going to try to get down there, maybe do some South Carolina deer hunting, and maybe they'll come up to Virginia and do some Virginia deer hunting when season kicks in. Of course, they're lucky enough to be able to hunt from September till, September again. They hunt like 17 months out of the year, so that's lucky for them. I can go down to pretty much any time. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. They were a great group of people. I really, really enjoyed hanging out with those guys. And like I said, everybody else that was down there, Colt Copeland, got to hang out with Mr. Patterson, and just, it was just so many cool people down there to hang out with and talk to. And anytime you go to a field trial, that's always great. But I'll tell you one more little story about this weekend that it's something I'll never forget. It actually happened when it was getting ready to get given out. It was with Colby Taylor, and I texted him yesterday evening. I told him, I said, man, I'll never forget this. It's just one of those things that just stuck out to me. When they were doing the awards, they got through 10th, and then there was no hunting given at the hunt, so it kind of just rolled down the line a little ways, and we got to fourth, third, that kind of thing. And at that point, my dog was only 17 months old, so I was like, okay, he had a great weekend, and he just, he dropped out. It was bad thunderstorms, and I was like, okay, he just had a bad last day. He got passed, and that's okay. He gave me great first 2 days, first and fifth in the first 2 days, so I can't complain. But I kind of settled for it. So, but Colby, if you go back and listen to that episode, and if you haven't yet, that's definitely a good one to listen to. Both of them. Be sure to go back and listen to those. But he's really good at remembering, like, all the dogs that hit on the bench, all the dogs that were in the top 10. He just has this great memory of the numbers and maybe whose they were and that kind of stuff. And he's like, man, I don't know. He's got this crazy memory with it. It's awesome. But anyway, the second place got called out, and it was the 621 dog. It was the dog that was leading going into that day. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, somebody didn't come up around him and passed him. And Colby kind of slapped me, kind of said, man, be ready. I'm like, ain't no way. Then they called out, and your first place hound is the combination winner. And he slapped me on my shoulder. He said, there's only 2 dogs it could possibly be now. He said, it's only 2 dogs it can be. And then he called it B&B's Chrome, or it's out of B&B's Chrome. And he said, 601. I said, ain't no way. And FA and PCK's Heartbreaker. Man, the emotions that fell over me, it was, oh my gosh, it was so incredible. I teared up, cried a little bit. I usually have words, and I didn't have any kind of words. I had no idea what to say, what to do. Gosh, it was unreal, guys. I still don't even know how to put it into words. It's just, I love it. It makes all the hard work worth it. It really, really does. All the nights being away from family and not being able to sleep in the bed at night all the time, and being away from my little boy, and being on the road, and all the hard work, all the money spent, and all the dedication we put into this, and it pulled through. It's not something I thought was ever going to come anytime soon. Of course that's the goal. That's what we drive for and strive for. But I haven't been doing this long, and I wasn't expecting this. And man, it's such a surreal feeling. It really, really is. But well, enough about me, Colby. I'm sure you're going to tune into this one and listen at least to this part. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate that, and a big shout out to the James River. They did a heck of a job Derek Doss and Brian Bell and all those guys that put on that show. They really, really did a great job. The Greg Odie, who was your master of hounds down there, did a great job with it. Great job calling it all out. And a big shout out to just everybody that made that possible. If you haven't made it through that hunt before, you really ought to try to. It really, really was a great, great hunt. So y'all be sure to tune in for this. Like I said, we're gonna get started here, and we're gonna pick back up where we left off last week, guys. And like I said, I still can't believe it, guys. So, all right. Thank y'all so much again for tuning in. Let's get back to it. Here we go. Part 2, Mr. Mike Greene and the competition beagles and some similarities between how we look at beagles and how we look at hound dogs. So y'all strap in. Let's get it.
And so they will run a fox. You can break them off of it pretty easily. But I'll tell you, the guys up north now, my dogs, like I said, my bloodline comes out of Canada. Mm-hmm. So we have what you call a northern harehound dog. Now there's a slight difference between your southern bred cottontail, some people call them cottontail dogs,
right,
to your northern hare dogs. So my dogs officially would be harehounds, is what they are. And a hare, I don't know if you've ever been hare hunting or not, but a hare, he might check out and run a mile before he turns.
No kidding.
Yeah, so it's they big, and well, in the fall they're brown, in the winter they're white, basically. Right. The rabbits are, and so just imagine a jackrabbit, basically. Right, I guess, something like that. But anyways, they check once they jump that rabbit. I mean, he's gone. Right. I mean, he's rocking and rolling. They might be out of hearing for 25 minutes before you ever hear them come back into hearing.
Wow.
So they run like a deer.
Okay.
And so them harehounds, that's what they're bred to do. They're bred to run them in them hard, heavy snow situations in northern New Hampshire, Canada, Vermont, Maine, places like that. That's what they're bred for.
Right.
And that's what I have. I have the harehound bloodline.
Gotcha.
Here, that's what I raise, and I guess that's why I say get you some Branco dogs and drop them on them deer. You're gonna run that mule. I'm gonna tell you, you're not gonna walk him. You're gonna run that mule.
No.
But they'll be rocking and rolling now because they're bred to do us in their DNA to run like that.
Now, I would assume
that head up style.
I would assume that the hares are going to be faster than the rabbits are down here, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They're gone.
They're gone.
They're gone. Them jokers will check out of here. I'm telling you, looking like Bugs Bunny running out across there. I mean, they are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, guys I know that have gone up there and they got into some good running. Day and a half, their dogs wasn't ready. Dogs wasn't ready to get up there. Run the first day. Oh, yeah, dog's done good. Halfway through the next day, and your dog's over there digging holes and making beds. Because they're gone. And I say, how many rabbits you run? One. Yeah, we're running for 4 hours.
That's what I like right there.
Yeah, that's what you get. So I took that bloodline, that Branco bloodline. That's what that is. That's harehound bloodline. That's what they're trained on up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I brought it down here and learned how to raise it, learned how to breed it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm great at it or whatever. I've just learned how to work with the dogs off of what I'm breeding.
Right.
Hard to jump into a 50-year-old line breeding program and produce dogs. You got to learn something for a while before you can do that.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'm thankful for Branco and Freddie for what they've done, but it was a hard bloodline to learn how to daggone breed. I'm gonna tell you that. And I'm still learning. Every cross, I'm still learning. So
we never quit learning, right?
If we do, we'll go sit down somewhere. It's over with.
I don't think it'd be no more fun if I quit learning stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hear people I've heard people make the statement, well, I don't really think of nothing else I need to learn. Well, my gosh, why in the world? We need to make you president of something. You need to start putting on seminars and charging people to come here. You talk, and
get paid to teach. Come in.
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah, but I'm not that. I guess. lack of a better term, I guess I'm not that uneducated to say that I'm overly educated in it. I'm learning all the time.
That's it.
And
that's it.
That's what I'm gonna keep doing. Good Lord willing.
I like it. So we kind of touched on talking about all the running traits and stuff like that. And there's so many similarities. And that's one of the things I was gonna say earlier too when you were talking about it is. I know a lot of people are always worried about, oh my God, does that dog have speed? Is he fast? Is he fast? Is he fast? And to me, I've one of the things that I was taught getting into this competition side of stuff is, yeah, your dog might be able to run 15 miles an hour for 5 hours, but if he's blowing the turns every time that game makes a cut, I'd rather have the dog that can run and never miss a cut, but he's running 12.5 miles an hour. Maybe he's sacrificing that extra 2.5 miles an hour, but in the grand scheme of things, he's not missing that cut when that game makes that crossing. And that seems like that's one of the things that you're looking for in your dogs as well. Is it's got to be between the head and smart enough and good and strong enough of a nose, or either looking at it good enough to be able to make that turn with that game. Correct?
That's right. Like I say a lot, the nose of the plane gets to the crash site first.
That's it.
And everything else it's going to fall. It's going to break apart. It's going to be a mess. But if you got a dog in there that's slotting up, it's maybe not running the front, but he's slotting up and he's handling that track, cleaning up mistakes off that front end right there. When that nose of that plane crashes, he'll be the one to turn out and go the other way with it,
Right.
And then the front end dog's gonna have to catch back up.
Yep, that's it.
It makes a difference. I don't mind my dogs to overrun a track as long as they shut their mouth whenever they pass it. If they can't smell him, they better not be talking about him.
That's
and
right.
So you let me see it, and they doing it, they'll be real short. I'm sending them some Duke energy right down the line.
There you go.
They fixing to understand that was a bad mistake. But even no matter how excited they are, and you can always tell the ones that wasn't even getting rabbit.
Right.
Are the ones that keep popping that mouth whenever they go across.
Right.
When everything else is shut up and turned back, and this dog here comes down through there and still popping that mouth. Well, he wasn't getting no rabbit in the first place.
Yep.
He's on the cutting board. It's time for him to go.
Yep. He's just pretending to be there.
Yeah, he's hollering, me too.
Me too.
And so as far as that goes, as far as those traits, I'm like you. I don't care how fast my dogs run. Obviously, I like for them to set the woods on fire.
Right.
But I want them dogs to run as fast as scent conditions allow.
There you go.
And if they'll do that, I don't care if you got a deer dog, a coon hound, a beagle, whatever. If a dog is running only as fast as scent conditions allow, you're going to have less of those train wrecks, and there's blow ups. You're going to have a more smoother turn. Now look, down here we got blue-tailed swamp rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to run one without a train wreck. You're going to crash.
Right.
It's just the way it is. It's because of the way that they run. They twist and turn and bump, and they'll hop stumps, run logs. They do everything.
Right.
They don't mind jumping in the creek and swimming. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to have that, and then that's what I start a lot of my puppies. I start them on them swamp rabbits, because if they can run a swamp rabbit, Cottontail better get his mind right, buddy. He better get his mind right. He better off to sit in the he better off to sit in the bed than to get up and run, because especially on a good scenting day.
Right. Now, is all the hunts that you go to, are they on the outside, or do you go to some of these rabbit pens and compete in those as well?
Well, in the AKC they're running pens.
Okay.
And so your AKC SPO, especially down here in the South, up your way around Virginia, most AKC places, I don't even know of one that don't run in a pen. Even up in New Hampshire, I got buddies up there that run large pack. They run in pens.
Gotcha.
It's kind of the standard for AKC. They run in pens. So when I go to an AKC hunt, then we're running in pens. And over here at Rocky River, where I'm vice president, we've got two 35-acre pens over there.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's what we run in whenever we're competing there. That's just a standard for AKC.
Gotcha.
UKC, you run in the wild. PKC, you run in the wild. Everything else except for AKC runs in the wild. Well, UKC's got the gun dog category now. They run in pens. Usually it's at an AKC club. They run in their pens.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, but yeah, we in UKC hunting beagle format, you're going to run in the wild. That's what we run in. That's what I like to do.
I gotcha. I'm with you now. So, we'll kind of get back where I was going until I got a little sidetracked right there. We talked about this, similarities in the running style, and listening to that podcast you did, on y'all's on the Joy podcast, your first one you did with them. It was one of the things that I listened to a lot. I picked up on a lot when I was listening to that episode. Excuse me, I worded that terribly, but was the look of a dog. I was I wanted you kind of touch on, some of the traits and some of the look that you look for specifically, and I can kind of, bounce, and it seemed like there was a lot of similarities on what we look for as far as just the overall build and look of a beagle / and a hound.
Mm-hmm. Well, you think about it, if you I'm gonna say this in a good, nice way. Sometimes you can just watch people walk into work and know they ain't gonna be working there long. The same thing with a dog.
Right.
So you can tell that 18-month probation is not going to be needed for
That's
this
right.
one. No, for the traits in a dog that I look at when I'm looking at a dog, if I'm watching a dog work in the field and everything, I'm looking for one that's high up on his toes, as cat-toed on the front end.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that got a racy look to him, but nothing that's going to take him into looking like a foxhound, but looking like a beagle that's ready to run.
Mm-hmm.
Straight across the back, squared off at the hip, squared off across the front of the shoulder, but with a little bit of sleek look across that head, the eyes on the side of the head versus the eyes on the front of the head.
Okay.
I want marker lights. I don't want headlights. That's what I'm looking for in a dog. I'm looking for that dog's nose to be down and their tail up. Things like that, like my pap used to call high-tailed dog. Dogs that's gonna work, but also a dog that's got sense enough to pull that head up and use the wind, to search with as well. But if I'm looking at a deer dog, I'm looking for the same thing.
Right.
I'm looking for that dog that's high up on them front toes. It's light on his feet, it's athletic, got agility, ability to do what it is he need to do. Man, I've seen dogs that are flat-footed. Flomp, 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 flomp,
right.
Dope looking dogs, you look at the dog, your IQ slows down on you. You're like, what the world's going on right here?
Right.
That joker's got a head big enough to have plenty of brains, but he ain't using half of what he's got, It's just kind of got that lazy look to him, I don't want a crackhead dog. I don't want one that's just super hyper that I can't train.
Yeah.
That I spend more time shocking them than I do petting them. I don't want to do that,
Right. Ain't got a lick of sense to them.
No, I'm looking for that dog that's got something between the ears and is high up on them front feet. It's just squared off on the front end, but like I said, got a racy head and a racy, sleek look to them.
Right.
But not giving up.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, but not giving up the beagle conformation.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take a second real quick and interrupt the show and talk about Cajun Lights. They have jumped on board to support the Hound's Tales podcast and the field trialing community. You got nighttime field trials coming up. I know I do in my series, Pleasure Running at Night. When you need to catch that next crossing, put your trust in Cajun Lights. Cajun Lights is made in America product out of North Carolina who has been in business for over 25 years. They make cap style and bucket hat headlamps to free up that extra hand for your voice recorder or for your GPS. There are three main lights I want to focus on real quick. The first is the Micro Gator, which is the lightweight option. It has 4 brightness levels and 4 color options, including red for us field trialers. Rated at 50 to 60 hours of battery life on the highest setting, this is your flood style lamp that'll do really good for us out in the fields in the short brush and be able to help us get in front of those crossings. Next up is the Cajun Bayou, which is the next step up, and it includes the same number of colors and brightness levels, but it packs a much bigger punch on that brightness level so you can catch those crossings way down the path when you got a long road to cover. And last but not least is the top level Cajun Blinder. It has a main beam light with 4 levels of brightness and includes a walking light, and even with a light this bright, the burn life on it is rated at 5 to 6 hours on the highest setting. There's no chance of missing a dog with a light like this one, folks. All their lights come with a 2-year warranty and a lifetime labor warranty, and these guys are excited to get into our sport, ladies and gentlemen. So y'all be sure if you see me at a hunt, come ask me about them. I'll have one of each of these lights on hand to show you and let you put it on your head and kind of experience it. Show these guys some love, guys. And y'all please go visit their website at CajunLights.com, and their phone number is 888-773-3080. Thank you, Cajun Lights, for all you do and for trying to get into this sport. Like I said, guys, let's show them some love. Let's get back to the show, guys. Here we go. So talk on that. What do you mean by Beagle conformation? What I know it's probably hard to describe and put in words. I know when I was getting into the competition side of things, that was a word that got tossed out a lot, was conformation. Look for conformation in the dog. And I'm like, what in the world is conformation? Like, what am I looking for when I say conformation? I know you described a lot right there, but is there something that specifically speaks out as far as the Beagles go when you say conformation? What is that for you?
Yeah, so everything from the withers to their hip should be straight across, no humps in the back, no swag in the back. They should their body conformation should be from the withers, which is their shoulder blades, right there, what we call shoulder blades, to the hip bone, straight across. All right, squared up. So if I go straight down that front leg, I want straight legs. I don't want bowed legs. I don't want kicked out knees. I want straight legs. I don't want them pigeon-toed.
Right.
I want everything straight across the front, because that dog, if his conformation is even and equal body-wise, then he's going to be able to stand up to those 20, 25-mile days.
Right.
If he's got bowed legs, he's not going to be able to withstand it. His joints is not, over time, that's what's going to go on him. He's not going to make the long haul.
Right.
Right. And you think about, put it into perspective. If you go out and run your deer dogs, and you put in, let's say you run 3 days a week, and you put in 20 miles a day, each one of those days you put in 20 miles, that's 60 miles a week. All right. I run dogs year round. My season never ends. I'm running dogs from January to January.
Right.
I'm running 3 to 4 days a week year round.
Right.
That's what I do.
Right.
The only time my dogs get a break is when I'm chasing them horns during the rut.
Right.
And then I'll start back sometime towards the end of December. So from the end of October, 1st of November to about midway through December, my dogs get a break. So let's just do easy math.
Right.
Your easy math is going to be on a 10-month run, okay? A 10-month training year is what I call it. All right. So if I'm going from January to the end of October, right, that's 10 months.
Right.
If I'm averaging 60 miles a week on them dogs,
right.
All right. So you're looking at 240 miles a month.
Right.
All right. So then I go 240 miles a month, and then I multiply that by 10 months on an average.
Right.
And a lot of times my months are way more than that, but just on an average.
Yes.
So you're looking at 2,400 miles that dog's put in a year. All right. Now multiply that by 10 years.
Yeah.
And you're looking at 20. Now I know most dogs ain't going to still be running home. Mine aren't. I got one down there 12 years old, be 12 years old May 1st. And for the first hour and a half, Katie barred the door. She still thinks she's 5.
That's right.
And she will lead my pack.
Yeah.
And she's one of the matriarchs to the kennel, my Maggie dog.
Right.
But so you figure 10 years, you're looking at 24,000 miles.
Man.
Now you think if that dog's bow-legged,
Yep.
if that dog's got displaced hips, if you don't have straight moving, smooth moving joints,
Right.
if he's not bred right, if he's got if his jaw sets back too much, he's not going to be able to drop his head right. If his jaw sets forward too far, he's not going to be able to drop his head right.
Yep.
If his eyes ain't set right, if the head's not designed to bust brush, he's going to be blind before he's 2 years old.
Right.
Things like that right there, when we're talking about my style of dog, is what you're going to look for. Now, you think about it. In a 10-year period, 24,000 miles, let's just say 24,000. It probably won't be 24, but let's break it down to 20,000 miles in 10 years.
Right.
How, if the conformation is not clear? Now, what we mean by conformation is exactly how that dog is supposed to look, and according to the breed standard.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So if he's got good build, good conformation is good build.
Right.
According to the breed standard. Now, you can go to any parent club website, Beagles, Labs, Coon Hounds, whatever. You can go to the website. They'll tell you exactly what they expect a Beagle to look like.
Yep.
And how it's supposed to be put together. The tail shouldn't never come down past the ankle, what we'll call it the ankle. It shouldn't be past the ankle. It should get to the ankle. The ear, when pull the ear forward, the ear should come to the tip of not to the tip of the nose, but to the back black line of the dog. So when you pull that ear forward, it should lay right up across that snout, right to where the nose begins, right there, that black line. Mm-hmm. It should touch right there. It should not come out and wrap across the front of his face and tighten a knot like a basset hound.
Right.
I mean, that shouldn't be, and you look at a dog and say, good gracious, at the ear, that dog got hound in it. And you reach down there and you pull it to the front. Nope, that's where it's supposed to be.
Yep.
It'll just look like that, you know.
Right.
For whatever reason, I've seen some. I thought that joker's half black, old tree and black and tan right there. That I'm waiting that joker to open up the
right.
like on that cartoon, Old Reliable.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And but they that's what they're supposed to look like. The eyes should be set. They should be round. They should not look like they shouldn't be squinted,
Yeah, right.
Or I guess slice-eyed or squint-eyed. No, they should be round and open, When they drop their head down, their ears should fall right down there beside their nose. When their head's down on the ground, their ears should fall forward. They should not be perked up, and they should not be if they're tipped over at the top. Then you've been in my daddy's breeding program, got you some daggone rat terrier up in there. So,
don't got that questionable bloodline.
Yeah, we need a breed inspector over here.
That's
something ain't right,
Somebody
so that's what we're looking for.
Okay, so it seems like there's a lot of similarities, between.
It's massive.
I mean, it sounds like. You just drop the scale down, to look at a model car. You got your 124 scale, American Foxhounds, and your Beagles are your 148 or whatever the number is, just a little bit smaller scale, and they're looking for the same thing.
Literally, the Beagle is literally a miniature walker.
I like it.
It is a miniature walker, and for all standards, based off of the size and percentage wise, it should equal out. If I come to your house and you got a full-blooded walker right there, a trim walker, whatever, I should be able to do everything I just said about the Beagle to that dog. I should be able to pull his tail down right to the top of the ankle, ears to the tip of the nose, head should set square, neck should not be skinny. Oh boy, I've seen some skinny neck dogs. What the world wrong with that dog right there?
Got them chihuahuas out there.
Yeah, what the world? Crossed up something there, and they should have a noticeable neck. It should not, and it should come off of the shoulders and complement the back of the head. It should not come out look like a buck in rut.
Right.
And I'm talking about a dog that's supposed to be quote unquote in shape.
Right.
I ain't talking about one that's been eating biscuits for a year.
Yeah, that's right.
Just brought him out to go run. So all that, everything should complement itself in the dog. Legs are straight, hips are square, everything's moving and grooving in a athletic way.
Right.
And if you've got that, and depending on the style, but if you've got that, then you got a dog that's going to be able to go the long haul. If they don't, I'm telling you, I've seen Man, my buddy had a dog. I hope he listens to this. He had a dog one time. I'm telling you, his name was One Lug Thug.
What?
He One Lug Thug. He was born with one ball.
Okay.
And they call him One Lug Thug.
One Lug Thug.
And when he run across the field, his back legs moved together like they was hinged.
No kidding.
Like one hind leg couldn't get in front of the other hind leg. Like you had them bolted together.
Right.
Or welded.
Bunny hopping.
I'm telling you, man. And when he ran, those legs would. Them legs would move in sync with each other, just like that right there. Well, I don't know whatever happened to that dog, if he died of old age. I don't know what he ever did with that dog. But I always used to make fun of him. I always used to say, y'all welded the spider gears together in his rear end,
He got the posi unit going on back there.
I'm telling you, buddy, he's got it in positive traction. That jugger is rolling now. But and he could, but here's the thing. Dog like that will not make the long haul,
right? Because
he's not designed to run that way.
Yep.
So that's important. Now, all that conformation, which means the build, the designated or the parent club recommendations or expectations of how the dog should be built from birth.
Right.
Dude, I can go down there right now and take a puppy out at 8 weeks old and do all them same measurements, and that puppy will measure the same way.
Should be the same way.
People say, he's long, but he'll grow into it. No, sir. No. He's growing at the same percentage body-wise and hopefully brain-wise. As he grows, everything grows at the same rate.
Now, if you want to...
It should not be long.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say it shouldn't be... he got long. Oh, he'll grow into it. He'll get tall. No, he's not. He should be growing at the same rate across the board.
Now, if you want him to grow at a correction rate, feed him joy puppy food, and he'll correct all the wrong.
That's right. 100%. Absolutely. Feed him joy puppy food, and it will change his world. He will know you everything. He will speak English and know what you want, how you want him to grow.
The funny thing is, you were talking about the One Lug Thug. I love that. So I actually have the first foxhound that I got. I had him out in the deer woods and was running and. Long story short, my cousin ended up calling me and caught the dog and said, you need to come here and get this dog right now. Well, he had a bad mishap with a barbed wire fence. And needless to say, he is now what I call him the one nut wonder. So,
One nut wonder.
So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is wild. I never I guess, not really dealing with beagles much. And I think a lot of the listeners on this podcast probably don't have, many dealings with beagles. So it is really neat to hear that the conformation, the look, it goes across the board. And one of the ways that it was described to me too, a lot of houndsmen are old down south, NASCAR, car people and stuff like that. And the way it was described to me, and if I remember right, it was an episode I did with Chris Powell, big-time bench show guy, and him and his wife travel the country and do bench shows all over the place. And the way he kind of described it to me was you could have the car, you could have a Hendrick Motorsports car with the biggest engine, the best parts, all that kind of stuff in it. But if his alignment and his aerodynamics are not perfect, you're fighting a losing battle. You're gonna wear yourself out and wear that car out way faster if you don't have the setup right and the aerodynamics and the body shape right to be the best that it can be. That was one of the best 100%. Ways I've ever heard it described, along with the way you're kind of talking, the way you're talking about it too. But that really kind of puts it into perspective on why those kind of things are so important. I want to take a second and talk about Frontline Optics real quick, guys. They are a sunglasses company that is owned and operated by frontline workers, fires, and emergency services, guys. They have designed glasses with us in mind, with the frontline workers in mind, people that are out there using your sunglasses every day and don't want to break the bank and have a pair of sunglasses get broke and have to and just be out of that that crazy amount of money. Guys, these are high quality polarized sunglasses that are durable, affordable, and ultimately represent our lifestyle. In addition to that, a portion of all proceeds from the sale of these glasses is donated to First Responders Children's Foundation. It is in support of those children who have lost a parent in the line of duty. How cool is that, guys? So, guys, check these guys out, frontlineoptics.com. Go to their website, and when you go to check out, be sure to type in the promo code HoundsTales. That's TALES. While you check out, and you'll receive 15% off your first purchase. Also, these guys have a first-time replacement, no questions asked program. Be sure to check that out, guys. These guys are awesome. I can't thank them enough for jumping on board. And we'll get back to the show.
That's right. I mean, and there's a reason why the standard, the breed standard is out there. And when we go to changing that, this is when you see, not only do you see conformation issues, but you see genetic issues, heart murmurs, exercise-induced collapse, things like that come from, lack of a better term, poor breeding habits.
Right.
And all that goes into play on a 30-mile day.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
All of that,
For sure. I mean, you can see it,
no
in our multi-day hunts. The dogs that they're missing that setup. When they get to day 3 on that last day, you can tell them ankles are getting swelled up and they're hurting.
That's right.
About a second hour in that third day, you see them come across in that cross and they're giving it everything they got, but they back to third gear instead of running in high gear.
Mm-hmm. But, and they've already scaled it back, and once they scale it back, they're only going to continue to. If they stay in it, their heart's right, and they stay in it, they're going to continue. You're going to stop seeing them up on that front end.
Right.
They're going to be on to the rear and giving them a good opportunity.
Yep. Praying they finish.
That's right.
But
yep. At that point, that's a fact. And same way with beagles, man. We go 2-day hunts and stuff like that, and you're running cast after cast after cast, or you go to a 2-day large pack hunt, and these dogs are running 3 hours, 4 hours, at a time. Right. It don't take long. You'll see the ones that come out on the front end at the beginning, and then you'll see them way back under after a while. Or either they're out skirting the edge, way around, swinging wide, trying to get to the front, and it's just they're out of pocket. They're out of the game and don't even realize it.
Their minds then got messed up from having to try and give that extra energy that they really can't just give anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I've had several guys ask me, man, what can I do? What can I do? What supplements do you do? And this, that, and another. My boys, feed them joy.
There it is. There it is.
No, I tell them, look, boys, it's all about getting them ready for the game. I always say this right here, Michael Phelps, and people, I'm telling you, and I don't talk about any other dog food companies that are out there. I never mention nothing about nobody else. It's great. There's other great dog foods out there, but here's a true statement. Michael Phelps would not have 35 gold medals if he eat at McDonald's every day.
That's it.
I don't care how much exercise he does. I don't care how much swimming he's done in his life. I don't care how good he looks shape-wise. If that joker's eating at McDonald's every day, it is going to show up, and he would not be a 35 gold medal toting son of a gun right now.
Yep.
He would be a no gold medal man.
That's right. That's right.
And so it comes back to breeding, genetics, in the breeding, and then nutrition.
Yep.
And that's what's going to carry that dog in your hunts that you go to, and you go to the 3-day hunts or whatever.
Yep.
That's what's going to carry these guys' dogs from day to day to day is that solid I'm not saying that because I do supplements, and I feed Joy dog food, but I do them because there's things that dogs need that they're not getting.
Right.
They're getting everything they need in Joy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but man, when you start putting in 60+ miles a week on a Beagle,
right.
even though they can handle it, if you want them to live a long, healthy life, then it's just like me and you. We go to the gym.
Yep.
We can eat good. We can eat the best foods. We can do it all.
Right.
But Arnold Schwarzenegger himself is going to look at you and say, you better get some this kind of vitamin, that kind of vitamin, this kind of this.
Yep.
My son, he's a power lifter, a bodybuilder.
Okay.
Per se, not on the competition level, but that's what he focuses on, nutrition. He wants to be a physical therapist and a personal trainer when he gets out of college.
I gotcha.
But he eats good. He does right. He takes in all of his proper nutrition.
Right.
But he still has to supplement.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with supplementing.
Right.
At all.
Right.
As much as I love Joy Dog Food, when you go out here and you're putting 70, 80 miles a week on a dog.
Yep.
And I'm feeding them according to that. I'm, anteing up wherever I need to or cutting back where I need to. There are times in my heaviest running months, which is from say December to probably August, somewhere around in there, or excuse me, January to August to July.
Right.
There are times when you're going to need to supplement. So don't be afraid, but make sure you get the right thing. Anything that's based off of a seafood diet, things like that out there that's going to have plenty of fish oils and things like that for the dog's growth, nutrition, probiotics. Yep. Look, dude, I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell all y'all the secret. Besides Joy Dog Food, feed them yogurt. Feed your dogs yogurt once a week.
Okay.
It will change. Look, their immune system, our immune system, their immune system, horses' immune systems start in the gut.
Yeah.
That's where it starts at. And if you want to power that immune system, power that gut, keep that gut healthy, and probiotics. Now, you can give Fortiflora, all kind of different stuff.
Yeah.
Easiest thing to do is get you a tub of yogurt, throw that bad boy in there, and watch them dogs love it.
No kidding.
I saved a dog's life one time with yogurt, and couldn't figure it out. Vet couldn't figure it out, man. We run every test. She had puppies, and all of a sudden, about 4 days after she had them puppies, she would not eat and everything. Well, excuse me, she would eat, but everything hit her stomach. She threw up. Everything.
Yeah.
Took her to the vet, got her tested. We did this test, that test. Vet told me, said, Mike, I don't know. He said, but if you can get her to live for 3 weeks, you can take over for your pup. I said, dude, that son ain't gonna live another week. I'm gonna have to put her down.
Yeah.
Just simply because she is starving to death. I mean, everything goes in her mouth, she throws up.
Yeah.
So I called Jeff Stacy, and I sat down there, dude. I had talked to, I can't tell you how many people I had talked to trying to figure this out. And I ain't no vet, but I'm pretty sharp on dog meds and stuff.
Right.
Learning over the years, dude. I sat there and I thought. And I said, let me call Jeff Stacy. I said, Jeff's raised over between the knowledge of his daddy, who was still alive at the time, God rest his soul, Corey Stacy. Basically, I called him and I told him what I had. And he said, Mike, he said, let me go ahead and tell you, you got a 50% chance of that dog living. And he said, I'm going to tell you what to do. And he said, the reason I can tell you 50%, he said, because I've seen it twice in all of my life.
Right.
And all I've done, Jeff's been, like I said, he's been around a long time. His daddy been around longer than him, of course. Right. And he told me what happened. I said, that's the same thing I got. And he said, let me tell you what you do. He said, go down to the grocery store, buy you a 2-pound or 3-pound bucket of whole fat yogurt, not Greek yogurt, but just whole fat regular yogurt.
Yogurt, right.
And he said, feed her all she'll eat for 24 hours. He said, if she can't keep it down, he said after 24 hours, he said
yeah.
And the reason he said 50% because he had one dog that survived it and one dog that didn't.
Well, I mean, that's 50%. So
that's right. And that's the way Jeff is. I mean, he's put it out there like that. And I said, okay. So as soon as I got off phone with him, went to the grocery store, went and got the yogurt. I didn't feed her nothing but yogurt for 24 hours. I fed her all she would eat. Come back with like 4 tubs of it.
Wow.
And I fed her that yogurt, and the next day, 24 hours had went by. I went ahead and didn't feed her nothing else but yogurt for another 12 hours to that next morning.
Right.
So for a day and a half, that's all she ate was yogurt. And so then what I did is I took some canned food and I mixed it in with the yogurt and I gave it to her. Then I took dry dog food, mixed it in with the yogurt, gave it to her. Next thing you know, that joker was back at it.
Wow.
So I called Jeff. Jeff told me, he said, you call me back. If she's still alive in 3 days, you call me back. So I called him back in 3 days, and he said, and I'll tell you why that worked.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called him back on that Sunday, and I said, man, well, no, actually, I called him back on that Monday. I didn't get to call him back that Sunday, but I called him back that Monday. And he said, well, I can't take all the credit for that. He said what she had was a bacteria from when them puppies was born. You know how they lick up everything, they eat the placenta and everything.
Right.
He said she picked up a bacteria, maybe a placenta laid out there too long. She ate it a little bit later.
Yeah.
Whatever,
yeah.
it grew a bacteria.
Wow.
Well, he told me, he said, I can't take the credit for it. He said, I'm glad your dog lived, but I can't take the credit. Just like me, you give credit's due. If a man teaches me something and I tell you about it, I'll tell you who taught it to me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And
he said that he had a guy had a bacterial problem on a horse, and that's what he did. He fed the horse yogurt, and that's what saved the horse.
No kidding. I don't think I've ever heard that before, but that's something to definitely keep in the back pocket, 100%.
Yes, sir. Every week, there's not a week goes by with my dogs, and my buddy Ken, he'll tell you, he's been here many a time. There's not a week goes by that my dogs don't get a big heaping tablespoon of yogurt once a week.
No kidding.
And that keeps that gut healthy. It keeps everything moving smoothly.
Wow.
Hunting season is here. Make sure your dog stays energized with Joy High Energy 2420. This beef formula is made to meet the nutritional needs of the hardest working dogs at a whopping 505 kcals per cup. Joy High Energy is formulated with omega-3 and 6 fatty acids for healthy skin and a great coat. Added pumpkin for digestive health and chelated minerals for more energy. So whether they're in the woods, the water, or the field, make sure they have the fuel for anything that comes their way. To learn more about Joy High Energy 2420 or to find a dealer near you, visit joydogfood.com or call us at 800-245-4125.
Probiotics is a big deal for the health of your dog. If you're going to be running and hammering that dog and running, let that immune system drop, and you got a sick dog.
Yeah,
and that immune system will drop when that dog's overly exerted, whether it's from heat or just exercise. That immune system's going to drop. Now you got a sick dog on your hands.
That's it.
So it's just something there, a little something in my toolbox that I use, and I thank Jeff Stacy for teaching me that several years ago, and I've kept it up. I mean, I
love it.
Thank the good Lord I've not had that problem again.
Yeah.
But
still,
all
it's
my
there.
bitches, yes, sir. My bitches eat yogurt, man. I'm telling you, whenever they fixing to have puppies, I got them filled up with yogurt. They are just yogurt. And then my puppies, too. I feed my puppies yogurt. Joy puppy food and yogurt.
Joy puppy food and yogurt. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Absolutely.
Oh man. So, well, that's good. I mean, that's awesome to hear that, that's just one of them tricks of the trade that that's one of the big reasons I love this podcast. I love doing these things is, that's something that I would have never learned, maybe, down the road somewhere, but I wouldn't have learned it until I got to talk to you about it. And now all the listeners can take that and absorb that as well. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about doing this and this sport is like, man, these guys, everybody in it seems so just willing to help. Like you said, that fellow that just, he didn't have to do that for you. And he was willing to do that and teach you, and you absorbed it, and it saved your dog, and now that's a regimen that you have now. So that's
absolutely
awesome. I love it. So, that's a good roll into our last little talking point here. And this is something that I do on almost all my episodes is this is a question I think is important. I know I'm burning this question up and I overuse it, but I love hearing different opinions on what we can do as houndsmen to preserve this sport, preserve this way of life. And this is across the board. So in your opinion, what is something that you can see as houndsmen that we can do or need to improve on to keep this tradition alive?
Well, there's a number of things, but off the top of my head, is stop hating. Can take jealousy out of it and be willing to learn, because you build relationships on education. And give credit where credit's due. So many guys out there are wanting to get a claim for fame.
Right.
man, I don't care nothing about fame. Look, as long as my name is in the good Lord's book in heaven,
that's right.
That's where and my kids can say when I'm dead and gone, he was a good daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy. And so the hating across the board of style of dog, whether style of beagle or style of deer dog or coonhound, stop hating.
Yep.
Because what you're doing is you're opening the door up for a wedge to be driven in.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different than politics in Washington D.C. I mean, we got a cesspool of mess up there.
Yeah.
And you know, and I'm not a political person, but I'm just saying it doesn't take long for that to start rolling out and affecting groups. And then you got this group and that group and this one and that one. And I'm gonna tell you something that I tell a lot of my students. And a lot of people in my discipleship groups and stuff.
Right.
Until a person is ready to be wrong, they're not ready to learn.
Now, ooh, that's good. That's deep. I like that.
That's a fact. If I'm not ready to be wrong, then I'm not ready to learn.
Man.
I'm not ready to be taught.
That's really good.
And so be open-minded, stop hating, appreciate all styles. You don't got to run with them.
Right.
But appreciate.
Yeah.
Just appreciate the fact that this man over here is feeding his dogs Joy dog food, and you are too.
Now.
No, people's going to be like, man, I'm going to have to go buy some. Dude. These boys ain't done nothing but dog. If y'all learn nothing, learn that. So, but no, just stop hating and stop the animosity between style of dog, because it is the most ridiculous conversation that you can have. Well, let me say, it's not a ridiculous conversation. It's the most ridiculous argument that you can get into as to which one's better and which one's not. Because when you open that up for a wedge to be driven, you're going to split the aisle. One's going to be stronger than the other. And then one goes away, guess what? You're by yourself.
Yep.
Now you're stuck.
Right.
And then now the government, politicians, ASPCA, PETA, and everybody else that's against us letting our dogs do what they love to do.
Yep.
From you know, I sell pups for people for pets, Beagle pups. They come buy them, they buy them for pets, and I'm thankful for those folks. They drive in here from a long ways to pick up a pup and make a pet out of it. You know, one of the only complaints that I get: how do I stop it from chasing stuff? Yeah, put a lead rope on that joker.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to stop it from chasing. Well, you know, they call me up. My dog left out today. It took us 2 hours to find her. She left out barking and just barked all the way until I couldn't hear her no more. What was wrong with her? Wasn't nothing wrong with her. She's probably running a cat or a deer or something.
Right. Stop feeding her Joy dog food.
Yeah, stop. That's right. That's right. This is the one time you need to quit. So, you know, but it's because these ASPCA, PETA, all these Humane Society people and whatnot, they don't understand that this is the nature of the beast. This is what the dog loves to do.
Right.
We are giving these dogs the best life that they can ask for.
Right.
They don't want nothing else.
Yep.
It'd be like saying it ain't right to throw a fish in the water because he's going to drown.
Right.
You know, you don't need to make him live underwater. Okay, flip him up on the bank, see what's happening. Take him dogs down there of mine and turn them out to kennel, and they'll be out yonder dead in the highway.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
that's right.
Or lost. They've run off. They've got on a rabbit. They've got on a couple of days and they've got lost, and then they starved to death in the woods. You know, that's why they need and so people, please band together.
Yep.
Band together, support each other. Don't let style, speed, and all this drama be something, because it's going to tear our heritage up. Second thing, and maybe this is secondly important, but almost equally important.
Right.
My buddy Jason Horn down at Brush Bus and Kennels down in Roseboro, North Carolina, he is a big advocate of do everything you can to get some kids in the woods.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Because that's your next generation.
Yep. That's
your next generation. Get them to fall in love with it. Teach them. Take whomever. Even if the neighbor don't. If your neighbor don't hunt, but his kid wants to.
Right.
Get him just to come with you.
Right.
You know, if you don't want to take him by yourself, Get him just to come ride in the truck, introduce the boy to the woods. I don't care if it's squirrel dogging, coon dogging, deer dogging, or whatever.
Right.
Take a kid hunting. Man, we've been hearing this since we were kids.
Yep.
Take a kid hunting. There's a reason for it.
Yep.
Because that's your next generation of people that's going to stand up in Raleigh, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, or Washington, D.C., that's going to stand up and say, no, this is the right of every man to have a dog and to train that dog in the way. As long as you're taking good care of the dog, providing a good, healthy environment for the dog to live in, you're vetting the dog, taking care of him medically and all that,
right.
Nutritionally feeding him joy and doing the things that you need that you need to do. You're going to provide that dog a health, and he will be a better dog.
Yep.
Because he's in a healthy environment.
Yep.
And take a youngin.
Yep.
Take a youngin, introduce him to the outdoors.
I like that.
And that's how it's going to go forward, and that's how we're going to keep this tradition alive. My pap, like I said, I'm fourth generation. My great pap, my grandpap, my dad. This is where I'm at today. And the only thing I did for Cottonville Road Kennels is I took everything that I had been taught for all those years, and give credit where credit's due. I made it my own, and I just went forward with it.
There you go.
And that's what we need to do to keep it alive.
I like it. And and the good thing about it too, and especially with the whole concept of bring a kid hunting with you and let them experience it, is if you can bring a kid that doesn't know anything about it, or maybe has a little bit of interest in hunting and never been, and that's a new face that you're introducing into this world, and you never know, he might be the next person that's going to be in the like you said, in Richmond or Raleigh or whatever. He may end up growing up to be the next person that's fighting for you and saving your right to hunt. You never know those kind of situations, and at the bare minimum, he's at least somebody that's not going to go against you. That's
right. At the bare minimum. That's right. And look, he grows up to have kids. The tradition's going forward. His daddy, his granddaddy, maybe he's the first one. Maybe he's the first houndsman in the line.
There you go.
But he's going to raise his kids up if he loves it, and he becomes a houndsman. He's definitely raising his kids up to love it.
Yep.
And then it's up to them what they do with it.
That's it.
So I've always told my boys and my girls, it's up to y'all what y'all do with it. I've taught you, I've showed you, it's up to you what you do with it.
Right. Me and my wife have had that conversation with my son, and of course, he's 2 right now, so I want him to grow up and be a houndsman and do that kind of stuff. My wife gives me a hard time sometimes kind of joking around. She's like, well, what are you going to do if he don't want nothing to do with them dogs? I said, he may never want nothing to do with those dogs. I said, but he will grow up to respect it. And he won't be one person. And I said, I promise you, I'll raise him to respect it and teach others how to respect it. If he doesn't want to own dogs, doesn't want to run dogs, that's perfectly fine. That's his choice. That's how he should be. But he will grow up to respect it and have an understanding about it and spread a knowledge about it. I think that's the key.
Absolutely. And when he looks back, like my youngest son, he's planning on going to the Army this summer when he graduates high school.
Well, I appreciate his service.
And let's just pray he survives boot camp. But,
right.
Right. Now,
feed him Joy dog food and he'll make it through just fine.
I'm gonna have to send him some. I'm gonna have to send him a little bit in the mail. But yeah, we do appreciate his willingness to go and to serve. And but he's going to get away from home. And he's going to get somewhere. Maybe he's overseas, or maybe he's just across the country somewhere. Mm-hmm. And he may get tied in with some people. Let's just say he's stationed out in Oklahoma or somewhere.
Right.
And, hey, I can't go home from Christmas, I'm going to go hang out with my buddy and his family for Christmas or something of that nature, or whatever. And he gets there, and he's like, well, on our Christmas tradition is we go out rabbit hunting.
Right.
Well, heck yeah, man, I know all about that,
Yep.
My daddy's taught me. He's going to find like-minded people out there in the world.
That's it.
Dude, I got people I got people in Spain, all over the world that send me videos of their dogs. They send them here to the kennel.
That's awesome.
They on my kennel page of their dogs running all over this world in different places.
I love
way
that.
up north and way over in Europe. They're running rabbits. I'm like, I didn't even know y'all had rabbits over there. I just thought y'all had. I thought y'all had tea and crumpets. So, I don't know what you got over there, but these guys send me videos, man. I can't understand a word they're saying because they're in Sicily or Spain or Greece or somewhere, and they're running hog dogs or they're running rabbit dogs, and they send me the videos. It's a worldwide tradition, man. Hunting and hounding. Houndsmen are all over this world.
Right.
They're not just in North Carolina and Virginia and the United States. They're all over the world, and that's how we keep it alive. Love all the styles. You ain't got to daggone do them. Just respect them.
Yep. That's it.
And pass it on. Pass it forward. Pay it forward, like they say.
I love it. Well, Mike, man, this has been awesome. I've really, really enjoyed this one. Before we kind of, finish this thing out, is there any last-minute shout-outs that you need to give out before we get off this thing?
Well, I decided I wasn't going to shout out to Joy Dog Food, but
the Miracle Dog Food has had plenty of shout-outs.
No, I'll be honest with you, man. I'm just going to give a shout-out to the most important people in my life, my wife and my children, the good Lord above, because without them, I couldn't do what I do without a supportive wife. People ask me all the time, man, how do you do it? And, how can I do this? How can I do this? I said, well, first thing you need, the number one thing you're going to need is an understanding wife. Mm-hmm. That's what you're going to need that. Yep. And you're going to need $50,000 extra. Right. Just laying around. You're just going to need a lot of money laying around. But I appreciate my wife because I can't do what I do without her, not in the hound world, not in the pastorate, not in raising kids, not anything. My children for always just doing what they do and just being good kids and not being hoodlums. I'm so thankful for them and what they do. But like I said, in the good Lord above, man, that's it for me. But I do want to say I am thankful for all of my clients and all of my friends in the hound world, people that I know, acquaintances or people that I know well, right? That I have hunted with, that I have learned with over the years, that I have taken from, that I have put in my little box of knowledge or written down in my little journal, things that I've learned from. I'm thankful for all of those people, man. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate the opportunity to be here, to come on here and have good. It's fun to be interviewed because I interview so many people, and I just talk so much. And I'm like you, I'm always guiding the conversation. Let's stay on topic before we don't get into way over yonder somewhere. Next thing you know, we're talking about building trucks or getting stuck in mud or something.
Right. Them rabbit holes get deep sometimes.
I'm telling you, ADHD is a terrible disease. But yeah, man, I do appreciate you. Appreciate the opportunity. And hey, I appreciate you being a Joy customer, a client, and Joy appreciates that as well.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you coming on. And this one's going to be a few weeks after I make the official announcement. But Joy did. I talked to Wade today, and we officially became partners with Joy Dog Food for the podcast. So I'm glad to have Joy on board and bringing them on as well. It's. I don't feed nothing but Joy, and it surely does make a difference. A little plug right there, but Mike, I certainly do appreciate you coming on. And like we had kind of talked about it earlier, if y'all have not checked out their podcast, it's the Joy Working Dog Podcast. It's on you can Google it or any of your listening platforms. Just search Joy Dog Food or Joy Working Dog Podcast. And they drop an episode every week on Wednesdays, and it's all great stuff, good quality stuff, and I love listening to it. So I appreciate everything that you're doing and doing for the hound hunting community, and keeping that positive light out there, and keep on rocking and rolling, man. And like I said before, I certainly do appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely enjoyed it. I really did. Sure did.
Good deal, man. So. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all for listening. If you, again, if you haven't done it yet, please hit that like and subscribe button on whatever listening platform that you're doing and you're listening to this on, and be sure to share it. And I can't thank y'all enough. We could not keep doing this stuff if it wasn't for the listeners. And again, thank y'all so much. And like always, guys, happy hunting.